mean,
Hey, what's going on? NPC the Game live from the back rooms of Taiwan. How's it going? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Today's episode is spiritual elitism, a Panelverse story, my Harry Potter school, a BIKRAM yoga experience. It definitely corresponds with the last couple episodes, building one on top of the other. Building on basically learning from all these experiences and whatnot. We had a fun exchange in the Discord, Hyperspace Discord earlier, and it kind of definitely made me take a look and make sure I'm handling myself with integrity and, you know, walking upright. Because lately I've been focusing a lot on these broadcasts about talking about the Panelverse and what I don't like about it and whatnot, right? The drama per se. And just like it is for most folks who have a Scorpio laden chart, for example, like myself, you get instant karma. So I get a chance to really practice what I preach, and thank God we have acquaintances and friends that hold you accountable and make you look at things. So shout out to all the lessons we learn every day and how we try to get better and better, right? Yeah. So yeah, the chat is active. OTW, what's going on? Gary, OTW, yeah, appreciate you, bro. That's another one. I said it yesterday, keeping us honest, right? Keeping us on that path to positivity. Gary Baxter was a comment. First one, hey NPC, I hope that earthquake didn't shake things up too much for you, buddy. Maybe like on a metaphysical, it's definitely shaking things up. My paradigm shifted. One of like looking at the like little nuances of what's going on, what's really going on, and into expanding it, into realizing that we're all sharing this experience we call life. However, it's in our own unique way, and remember to have patience with folks and with yourself. But yeah, nothing happened, bro. I saw there was a 7.7 earthquake in Myanmar. Myanmar is the country that used to be called Burma. They've been in the news for recent years with a lot of political strife and religious supplication, right, holding people down. And yeah, they had a huge earthquake, and because that country seems to be an underdeveloped country, a lot of the buildings were destroyed, and the epicenter of the most violent effects of the earthquake was pretty big. So big that it spread all the way to Thailand, another country over, where whole buildings were collapsed. And you can look at some of those condos that the passport bros hit up. The infinity pool was spilling over water and whatnot. Right? Yeah, spilling over water, you can take that as a sign of spilling over emotion, containing your emotions and mastering your emotions, water, emotions, feelings, or whatnot. So I'll take that from it. Everybody's cool. Lady Luck, my friend Lady Luck, good to see you in the chat. Ozzy, Mandy, always a pleasure. Locksmith Jeremy, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, and the Vengeful Truther, got it on lock for sure. You know, doing things a little different nowadays. Alexandria, what's going on? My man Scorpio. That's your man? Oh, well, you're in good company. Yeah. Fire, huh? A Scorpio. When I think of Scorpio, I think of Shadow Buddha in the building, bitch. Right? I mean, even though he's Aries, birthday's coming up, we share the same planet, Mars. Action, confrontation, passions, and war, right? What you go to war for. Unfiltered truth, Scorpio. That's why when somebody's lying to you, you can always you can suss it out, you know, but you let them tell it. You let them tell it if they're willing to, to fess up to it. But we see things. People don't have to tell me about manipulation. You know, we see it and whatnot. But in the end, us Scorpios, I'm speaking in generality. You know, we want what's best for us and the ones we love, for sure. And pretty much we do have, at least I have, an open door policy. In that, like, unless you did something like totally egregious, I always have, you know, we can always talk. That's how we become good friends and whatnot. The inner circle. You'll understand the inner workings of the NPC, the game. Shout out to Benjamin, who this channel is for. I made you stronger, Benjamin. No one's gonna fuck with you. Oh man, what's going on? Shout out to NPC, Shadow Buddha in the building, bitch. You say, I came in, basically just heard you say, y'all freaks. Definitely, man. I'll let you tell it. You can tell it better than me. Well, a lot of times for Scorpio, it's all about the anticipation, the buildup, you know, the strategy to get that sexual conquest, just admiring our woman, you know. But also, too, we can definitely get it in. Yeah. Taurus, which is the opposite of Scorpio, has that same energy, but they just do it. They're more about the pleasure, the sensation of it. Right. What's going on, pimp? Good to see you. Good to see you, P. Joe Cool, bro. Legend right there. Matter of fact, if we're just going on numbers, straight Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, most points in the board. Kobe, LeBron. Joe Cool wins all day. All day. Most subs in the all of the above sector of the Panelverse by far, and just a wonderful human being on top of that. He'll talk shit though. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Withholding and creating the environment. Yeah. Withholding, creating, they call it edging, huh? Edging. All right. Flicker Goon. What's going on, crazy mama? Hey, party people. Yeah. He just wants you to get mine. I mean, hey, that's good to get yours. But like Tupac said in his first album, I gotta get mine. I'm gonna take yours. I gotta get mine. I'm gonna take yours. Okay. Yeah. With that said, spiritual elitism in the house. Yeah, she knows the brain rot. Alexandria, yeah, just me to the gooning session. You have a gooning session. Do you look after that? Did you get him hooked up on Calling Hoover novels over there on Book Talk? Yeah, we know about the brain rot. Riding your brain with spirituality is a thing that isn't just privy to the Panelverse, all of the above sector. But it's all around spirituality. We see it in the spiritual sense over here with the ortho bros who have the biggest microphone and make the most noise. Definitely spiritual elitists with that Bible. Their Bible something. Yeah. A lot of people believe that the spirituality is the power that was granted by God, that they have here and now, and they feel like they have the ability and almost the duty to to school folks about what's really going on in terms of spirituality, and anyone else that's not doing exactly what they're doing, it's fucking up, right? And then a lot of times they give people an excuse to act like a dickhead, right? Should I hit up the donation? Um, Buy me a coffee, even better than YouTube. Um, what they call YouTube super chats. So I'm about to put in the request for that, for the eligibility. We hit the marks. Thanks. Yeah, so hit that up. The memberships are in there, and also good time donation. Blessed up. What's going on, man? Ragamuffin Visions in the house. Yeah, yeah. Spiritual elitism, bro. That's something that, like I said, like we see it. I'm using the example of the ortho bros, but you can definitely see it with our Muslim friends, other forms of Christianity, our Catholic brothers and sisters, Baptists, even you New Agers, right? But like a lot of people, they think, and we've talked under the Christian chamber, that God gave certain individuals or even institutions, if they're down with the church chamber, to lead and teach and govern within the spiritual realm. And this authority that they feel they have is rooted in the divine order that God established, and we could say in accordance with His will, and it encompasses various aspects of Christian life, like leadership within the church, family, and personal spiritual warfare. This is why you see people going so hard on these panels, for example, about this is what, this is how you do Orthodox Christianity 3.0, the program, right? Because we're all running programs. This is culture. This is culture. This is a broadcast or show, as some of you say. This is a broadcast about culture. And the culture is the program you're running in the back of your head, right? Sometimes culture is not your friend. It can get you in trouble doing things that normally you wouldn't do, or cause you to stop looking at whatchamacallit, things without stop you from looking at things with critical thinking, which is mathematics and science, measuring up the signs of life of the earth in front of you. I did it in this Panelverse. I hung with one of the baddest hombres out there for a minute. And showed me a few things on there, and then went our separate ways. Then met other people who met other people who met other people, and I'm here today, right? And a lot of times we get caught up in other people's definition or program or culture, when in fact we have no business being in it. Yeah. What's up, Jess White? Jess White, how's it going? Yeah. So, like, my Panelverse story is one that involves trying to make friends, genuine friends. I mean, and if they're lucky, sometimes if they're not so lucky, they become acquaintances and whatnot. But that's the overall. That's been the overall intention of this Panelverse, and I've seen spiritual elitists of all shapes and sizes. And you could be an atheist. I mean, that's a program in itself, a spiritual program, right? Atheist is not believing in God. But if we just walk with me for a moment and saying that there's either a spiritual realm behind this physical realm we're living in, aka what they call metaphysics, the movement, the motion behind the physical, or on contrary, we can say everything is spiritual. It ain't no really physical. This is Maya. This is fake in front of us. Either way, like, believe in God or not, you're a spiritual being, right? So So the point is now, what are you going to be in? How are you going to be an elitist? Like basically a snob. If you're looking at using it in a negative way that most of us use it, an elitist, right? You think you know it all. You think you were given the authority and the duty to let people know how much you know, right? That's elitism in the spiritual realm. There's a lot of spiritual, secular people here in the Panelverse. Maybe they're elitists with money, possessions, and internet clout too. The amount of subscribers they have or whatnot, or the quality of their video. Not too many about the quality of the video though. Yeah. So if you want to get your comment really read, because it gets multitasking gets a little much here. Send me a donation. I'll check the donation and I'll read it. Yeah, for sure. That's one way to do it. I mean, I'll still read the comments, but I'm just saying that if you really want me to read it, see it, hit the donation with what you want, what you need. I'm here. Okay. What's going on, Snow? Good to see you, sister. Bex, what's up, man? Woman. Yeah, so I've been in this psychedelic spiritual realm too. That's one of the chambers. Even though I was raised a Catholic, as I got older, I came into this space in the spiritual realm of like comparative religions, looking at different religions and see how they're alike and what binds them together. What's the commonality of them? And doing so, I met a lot of interesting people, right? And it even led me to the psychedelic realm, right? Somebody's removing shit. What happened? What you mean, man? Yeah, I don't know. Or removing the negativity in the sense that detoxing. Because sometimes when you detox, you get a little bit of the residue coming up, the resin, which is a lot of times the resin is the strongest part of your hash pipe or your cigarette filter, right? So it's understandable sometimes when we got a little missteps and whatnot when we're trying to detox from shit. Right? Panelverse and beyond. Need some shrooms? Okay, you can get psychedelic with me or with everybody else too. So, like I said, I've been in the spiritual psychedelic scene, for a while. I haven't taken much, but definitely hung out with a lot of those people and interviewed a lot of them and build with them a lot. But I've noticed there's a subset of that community, and I've personally ran with and witnessed a far number of individuals that are pretty much dismissive of people's both within that community and outside that community. And I realized it seems like a lot of people are spreading themselves too thin. And I'm speaking of myself too. I'll put that caveat so it's understood. Most of the time when I'm talking shit or just critiquing, I'm talking about parts of myself. But yeah, so I've spread myself thin. I've seen other people in my circle spread themselves thin, and with all the material they're taking in, right? With the attempt to do better in their life, and this attitude really doesn't seem to be too constructive sometimes. It's better just to focus on one thing and do it right. And it seems to me a lot of that spreading yourself thin with this over materialism of spiritualism, it literally leads to what y'all would call an egoic manifestation, right? I call it now the attachment to the so-called self, who you think you are, but we'll just call it ego, right? Overinflated ego, and I think this ego, and because a lot of us have known, like, all these spiritual truths and stuff we think are truths, we think we're the hot shit and whatnot. We thought we were the hot shit, but in fact, we're just protecting our own energy. It's similar to if you're it's similar. You're retarded. I don't think so, but I'll let you tell it. OTW. It's similar to that. If you're now, I'm not even saying the chakra system is real. Who knows, right? But for the diagram, for this example, we'll use it. Let's say your consciousness is in your lower chakra, your root chakra, for you guys with a prostate right there. So anytime you want base desires, sex, like food, whatnot, power, your consciousness is there, right? Your awareness. And the goal is to raise it all the way to your crown. You go from red base chakra to purple chakra, your crown, top of your head, God consciousness. So your consciousness starts there. And because of all the experimenting and good works you've been doing with your spirituality and how it relates to the physical, you keep raising your consciousness, raising your consciousness. You don't have any so much base desires anymore. You're not being a what they call it, a fuck boy. You're not engorging yourself with porn or smut. You're not dressing like a hoe anymore as much. Then you go up to your stomach chakra, your sacral chakra, right? The yellow, and you start, your abs literally start getting tighter. You start being aware of how your actions affect everything around you. Then you move up a little. Your consciousness moves up a little bit more into the or ego, we'll say, moves up to your heart chakra, the green, right? The heart, the Leo, right? You start being selfless and kind. And it's a lot. And some of those wizards and cool dudes thinks that that's actually the pinnacle of where you want to be, your heart centered, not necessarily on the top of your head, right? It's like this omnipresent God consciousness, right? But let's say your consciousness is there, and you keep rising up to your throat chakra, and how your throat, the blue, everything you say is straight in accord with your actions. You're spitting that fire. Then you move between the eyes, your third eye, right? And you start getting these intuitions of what you need before you even see it. How you know how you can get it. Then you get that God consciousness on the top. Also, so let's start in the head, right there, in between their eyes, that third eye, as they say. Now, this whole time your consciousness is rising up. You're getting like overwhelmed in that area of your life, and your awareness. That's what consciousness is, your awareness. And as it goes up and it gets to your head, it's like the whole time it's going up, it's like the police, we'll call it the police, or garbage man is tearing away and detoxing all that negative awareness that you don't need anymore. So that's why it's pushing your awareness up, cleaning it out, right? And then when it gets to your head, that's the last spot. And in order to get to the God consciousness, you have to get rid of that ego or sense of self. But here's the thing, that ego awareness doesn't want to get rid of itself. So it hides itself in the attic like Anne Frank in Holland, right? Being chased by the Gestapo who want to clean out everything so you can get that God consciousness. So what happens is your awareness or ego forms in your head when you learned all these spiritual elitisms, so-called truths, and you become a snob with your spirituality. You become someone who is like a bit of a narcissism, a narcissist. You have divine fantasies of religion, you being a religious leader and knowing what everyone needs, and you become humble only as a way to show that you're so like you're so righteous, but in fact you're only doing it just to flex on people. You think you're entitled to everything because you know the so-called truth. You want to expose everyone else's faults because you're the ultimate judge on spirituality and how people do their religion. You make people feel guilty to be around you, that they're not as high up consciously as you and spiritual as you. You have conditioned empathy, and you only help people that you feel that are worthy of your grace. They have to show you overt acts of why you should be kind to them, when in fact you just be kind. You you're kind of envious of of um of other people, gurus that you think are higher than you. So what you do is you foster this sense of envy of people that are quote unquote underneath you to idolize you at all costs. And you believe that anyone, just because they're in a certain group, they're ignorant because they're not in your group. And this is all manifestations and examples of why, how, as the so-called ego consciousness gets pushed up and up and up through your system, spiritual systems, that the last ditch effort is a spiritual snobbiness, because it knows it's about to be destroyed, so you can commune with the one. You know what I'm saying? So you can commune with the one, and that's that's what's happening, man. We think a lot of people think they're know-it-alls. I've been there. Like I said, I've seen it in the Panelverse. I've seen it in the. I've seen it at my Harry Potter school. Where I went to school at Long Beach State, and then took a little break to help take care of my mom who had cancer, and went back to school when I was working to finish up my degree in integral studies. I guess you can call it integral psychology. I think that's what they call it now. Yeah, and it was at the school, CIIS, California Institute of Integral Studies, and it's basically mostly a school for graduates, masters and PhDs in psychology and clinical psychology, and also they have like art expression psychology certification too, and most of the people there were older in the program and pretty learned and cultured and whatnot. And so we had this program where most of us had been there, done that, and we were just finishing up our degree together, our bachelor's degree. And by that time, I was a little older than the average college graduate. And I noticed, and the school was in San Francisco, like right across the street from X, Twitter at the time, um, over there on Mission and 10th. Um, don't get it twisted. San Francisco ain't no soft city. There's definitely some questionable places for sure, but it's like Star Wars bar out there, man. It's wild. And anyway, I've noticed in this weird rugged environment, urban environment, kind of like Walking Dead environment, there a lot of people came in there with a lot of high spiritual knowledge, and a lot of them would flex it in their various ways. Like on one end, you got the Catholic mom that's in there, that's a devout Catholic and whatnot. That's like trying to be like real progressive and whatnot, but in her attempt to be a progressive Catholic, kind of seems to be closed minded about some things. Then you have the on the other end, you have the Hindu white dude from Florida that walks around with no shoes on for a year and no shirt on too, and has this hugging business. Yeah, calls it like a hugging therapy or whatever, and has this harem of chicks that follows him everywhere. Uh, and he believes that, like, all you need is love type of stuff, and he has a little bit of that spiritual elitism in there. You got me, who was really at this time was really into existential psychology. I knew a lot about patterns and recognition and how it relates to holding back trauma, which you can relate to um, getting in the way of finding your mythical narrative, aka your purpose in life. And then you had astrologer yogis uh, that were in the class that were really spiritual elitists with their knowledge of the Vedic and also the Western astrology. So much so that one of the women that was in my cohort, Channing Nicholas, I think now she's probably the most successful, definitely one of the most wealthy astrologers in the world right now. I was looking at, let's look up her. Let's see. I'm gonna pocket watch right now. This girl, this girl never used to. She was like a struggling actress at the time from LA, and she would come up to the city on the weekend during our cohorts. And I remember she used to ask for a ride to her, where she was staying. So I take my 1967 Mustang, give her a ride. She was broke, like a lot of us at the time, right? But now, I'm saying now, I think I told Leopard Print about Channing. This is Channing, huh? Yeah, she's pretty. She was a nice person at the time. I say, I don't know, once I started like dating some of her friends, we can say, like it became like she started getting salty a little bit. Wasn't as nice to me, but hey, what is what it is. I get it. People's friends. So let's say her net worth. She went from broke, not having a car, to pocket watching. Yeah, they just used to say it. What did she scrape this? Well, I think it used to say, like, I think she made like $10 million last year or something like that of her astrology business. And look at her now; she's paying people 90,000 a year for marketing jobs for her business and whatnot. That's pretty good. Good for her. Yeah, but yeah, she definitely was a spiritual elitist. Learned a lot from her though, you know. And all this to say that yeah, man, we think we know so much, but really we still have a lot to go, me included. And I put the link out. People are more than welcome to come up and build. Yeah. Let me pin it real quick. Interesting. Some people like unsub from my channel. So, okay, I get it. Uh, Shima, good to see you. Good to see you, sister. What's up, Izzy? Saying hi to everyone. Yeah. What's going on? So that was my Harry Potter story. It's the fact that a lot of people know interesting facts about the so-called inner workings of spirituality, whether they're a Christian or a Buddhist or a New Ager. Yet, the more they try to flex it, the more stupid they seem and more unlearned they seem. It's more so by action. One can show strides that they make with their spiritual education. Oh, you think that's funny, Izzy? No, yeah, I guess so. That's one, I guess, good thing about having a smaller subscribe rate. You can tell when somebody does that shit or not. But so it must have been someone that I pissed off today or something. That's funny. I win because I saw you do it, whoever did it. But it's all part of the journey. We some of us who are into this quote unquote spirituality thing, outward thing, it's literally we're taking the external hierarchy that society has, right? Capricorn, external hierarchy, and applying it to our inner world, flipping it. When you start getting higher and higher up in the so-called spiritual world, it doesn't get you too far with that elitism, like thinking you're better than everyone. I mean, because quite honestly, if you are better than everyone, you'll just know it. No need to flex it so much. No, I know it was you, Rude Crab. I know it was you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. What's up? Look within. How's it going?
They'll be back.
Yeah. Good to see you, bro. No, let me just Rude Crab. I know it wasn't you because you have integrity and whatnot. Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry if I pissed you off earlier. I wanted to go down like this, like you. I say what I said, and then you come back later. Yeah, because it's just, you know how it is, like the homies and all that. Anyway, I don't like to add homs because I'll go hard once I hear people doing that to me. I had to do some breathing, some breath work. But anyway, I'm glad you're here, everyone. Look within, especially. What do you think about this? Some medic said, faith without works is dead.
Very cliche, but I do that all the time, so I can't talk shit.
You said very cliche. Do we take this shit down a little bit?
Look within, as above, so below. As within, so without. There you go.
That's what we always say. As above, so below as above. Until you stop looking at the planets as something outside of you, you'll never get the full consciousness of, like, you know, it's all connected. Everything Zen seems like, huh? Like we say all this stuff, then that.
Yeah, I was trying to have that conversation with, you know, Creek Mary from TML today.
Oh, Creek Mary, yeah.
Yeah, she's cool, man. I got no problem. And then I was kind of having that conversation. She was like talking about how God and the devil are separate entities, and I was like, yes, they are, but at the same time, they are also you. And then there's so many people, man, that you will go back and forth with, and they will just keep disagreeing for no reason, and you're literally saying the same shit in a different way, and I don't get it. But I love Creek Mary. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying. That's like half the people out here. If you don't just submit and be like, okay, you're right. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I'm right. And you're like, dude, we just said the same shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's why it's like, that's probably the reason why I don't really go as many, even though I've been like going last couple of days on more panels than I have in the last month. But because I want to have control over that, because I know that's how it gets, you know, and because it's a humbling thing. You got to humble yourself when talking to people, even though in our minds, like speaking of spiritual elitism, you think that you're more higher, I'll say elite than them. Even though it sounds messy, it is what it is. That's how it is sometimes. Some of us,
I heard you talking,
maybe not you, Patrick.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think we're all right. Just like I said, objective and subjective reality, they exist simultaneously. That is a fact.
Yeah.
That is not debatable. So when you look at it that way, we're all right and we're all wrong at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because even if all the skirmishes and miscommunications we're having during this, literally we're almost at the end of, or actually more past the middle of Mercury in retrograde miscommunication right now till the 7th, right? Even though we have that shit, in the end, people, whether they're lying or telling the truth, whatever, we're trying to protect ourselves from what, right? I think protect ourselves from looking like we took an L, and which doesn't just mean which can just mean having any fault. We don't want a lot of us don't want to see the other people know that we have any mistakes in our life. even if it's
It's
just like spilling water on the table or on our pants or something.
it's very difficult, even for open-minded people, when your reality is challenged, to just to even start to accept that there's something beyond your understanding. You know what I mean? And I know this from experience because it's fucking mind shattering. It will disable you mentally and physically and emotionally for a good
Yeah,
period of time if you can't just accept it. And that's why a lot of people do that, is because it's a defense mechanism. It's to keep them from having to step back and be like, oh fuck, I might have been wrong about everything my whole life. You know what I mean? And I
yeah.
think I've done that about 20 times in the past 5 years of my life. But
Mm.
it's just what it is. It's good for you. It's growth.
Yeah, I like how you said that. Divine Sparks 313, greetings. Good to see you. Made my day. You
313.
you 313, yeah. We have to say, man, that whole realizing you made everything in my life was a mistake. Those are those paradigm shifters things I'm talking about. And it's a wake up call, man. Uh it's sometimes it seems like those are happening more and more, bro. Faster and faster, man. The quickening.
Yeah, yeah, I get
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. I don't mean like a mistake. I mean, even though it is, you're right, but at the same time, the mistakes have to happen for you to come to that understanding, and
Yeah.
that's good. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it truly is. Without you realizing it, then it's not worth it. But you were saying the same shit, just in different ways. There you go.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And probably if I wasn't like under the Islamic program I have genetically from my father, and also um and probably then the Catholic programming from my mom, about like reconciliation and only talking to a priest a lot of times for your fault. Um, I probably would talk about my faults more, but in terms of the Islamic thing, we're not really supposed to talk about our faults so much, because in the end you're going to be judged for it anyway, the final judgment, you know,
That's how it is
from
in the
God.
corporate world. If you're in
Yeah.
management, you're not supposed to talk
Oh,
about your
really?
faults. Yeah, because
Hmm.
you're supposed to be you're supposed to be infallible. Even if you did
Yeah.
a mistake, you're not supposed to admit it to your employees. You're just supposed to like move forward with it. It's kind of
Right.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's I don't feel bad,
Yeah.
man. The Jehovah's Witnesses got to me. It's all right.
Oh, they got
They
to you.
fucked my mind all up as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, till I was like
Uh,
13 or so, and I just
yeah.
ran for the hills.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I didn't. I was raised a Catholic. Is he what she said? You were raised Muslim. I guess as an adult, as like as a big kid, because I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, Jesuit high school, and then as I got older and was studying the comparative religion, I found out, and being more getting to know my dad's side of the family, I I found out they're all Muslim from from West Africa, from Mali, and literally my dad's name is uh, a variation of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Uh, and the more I learned about it, I thought it was fascinating, especially because I like end time stuff, and like the whole concepts of heaven, Jannah, and hell. Uh, and reading the descriptions of how hell is, the Islamic version, and how we said, you're not supposed to tell your faults because you'll be judged, and God of the Most High, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, will put a veil or a bubble of secrecy and protection over you. So when you are judged in front of everyone in the known universe that's ever lived, universes, that only Allah's gonna see that, the Most High will see that, which is kind of comforting in a way. So why
Right.
so why blabber about your faults, publicly, unless you want attention, or if you truly do want redemption, but you truly are sorry for something you did. Yeah, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. I
Anyway,
feel that is also a way. I don't know. Maybe it's a way
yeah,
for them to just not admit fault
yeah,
and be
yeah, that too.
upset.
Yeah, see, look what's in, like, that's all cope. That's copium, huh?
It
That's the
sounds
word
like
of the week,
it.
cope. Yeah.
I'm a very apologetic person. My wife is
Yeah.
the exact opposite. She has a very hard time apologizing. And there's
Really?
just different types of
My wife
people.
always
Oh yeah,
apologizes and shit. To
right,
everyone except
right,
me.
exactly, exactly.
I say, don't you have to say you don't have to apologize to him. Jeez, you didn't do nothing. But she's being that's her way of being kind or whatever,
I'm
or
sorry, I'm
or,
sorry.
or something else.
Yeah,
What?
that passive
Yeah,
kind of lifestyle. Yeah,
yeah.
that's how my wife is. But when she's mad at me, man, I can apologize 10 times, and she won't. Why do I have
Right.
to say I'm sorry? That's fine. I'll go stand over here.
Yeah,
Wait, wait till you're
yeah.
not me.
I was raised on I'm sorry and also I love you type of stuff. Yeah, and I truly mean it. But if you say it all the time, I guess it is hard for people who aren't like that to take what you said with girth. I'm not. What did I say girth for? I mean, like
Get hurt.
like like encompassing holistic, truth, girthy
Yeah,
truth. That's a new one. Girthy truth.
that's just people.
Yeah,
If you know
yeah,
somebody's genuine and it's just you and them, that's why I like to in private do those things with
yeah,
people.
for
Because like
sure.
if it's just you and them, who am I lying to? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm not lying to anybody. I'm just talking with you genuinely by ourselves. I don't like the whole
Yeah.
public talk when it comes to real
Nah.
serious things. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Let's like Izzy. Yeah, let's chat for sure in the VCL. Absolutely, I'd be down for that. I'll be down for that, my friend. Yeah. And look at Zephyr. What she say? Was this the hug box? I love it.
Yeah.
All my favorite people here. I love you, Zephyr. Yeah. Why can't I just be like? I gotta make a funny voice, not like the masculine under the masculine chamber. If I'm gonna say I love you, I have to be like, ugh. I can just be like, hey Zephyr, I love you. Like, yeah. I was like, whoa, what'd she say? A few times, Twine Sports 313, a few times they did apologize. I was grateful. Oh, my dad and brother don't apologize. Somehow I got tricked into apologizing for them. Ha! They tricked you, huh?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
father never apologized. He
Very
was
lovely.
not an apologizer. He would just till the day he died. He would not say he was sorry for shit. But you could tell he was. You know,
Right.
it's just understanding
Uh,
who people are. I'm a very well. You can even read that about the 28 borns, and I'm a 5 on top of that. So we're very open people. 28
mm-hmm.
borns are very emotionally expressive. We almost need to be emotionally expressive and
Yeah.
we need that back like encouragement for us. If you encourage us, it amplifies what we can do, and that's why it's the 2 and the 8. The eight is wealth. That's why most, like I was telling you, most billionaires in the world are born on the 28th. This is verified.
Yeah, I saw that.
500 top billionaires in the world, they're born on the 28th. And then the
Yeah.
2
Musk,
is,
Musk
yeah,
born then?
Musk is born on the 28th. Gates is born on the 28th. A bunch of
Yeah.
billionaires. You can look them up.
Yeah.
But besides that, the 2 is it's cooperation. So 2 and 8 together is 1, which is leadership. But it's the type of leadership that works best in cooperation. It's not like the
Right.
hard leader who's like, get behind me and I will lead you. It's work together and I will lead you. That's what it is.
Work together, I will lead you. Yeah. My son Benjamin, under the 22 Act, master number, April 22nd, his birthday. Yeah, he needs that encouragement a lot. Positive reinforcement. He
Well,
looks
yeah.
to it a lot.
April
Yeah.
22nd. What's the year again? 2018.
2018 year of the dog.
Okay. So and then
Yeah.
on top of that, that's an 11 year. Damn, yeah, that's amplified because April is 4 and 22 is 4.
Mhm.
So then you got the 8 tied into it as well. Damn, yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. I'm telling
He
you,
can do
man.
that shit by himself though. That's the thing. He doesn't need it.
Hmm.
I mean, the encouragement helps everybody for sure. It
Yeah, but
amplifies
that's what I'm
certain
trying to
people.
get him to see. Don't
But
be
yeah,
so
he'll be fine.
don't be looking to other people so much for acknowledgement in a sense when it's
Validation.
you always have it. Yeah. Well, he probably sees it in me because I've always been like that. I'm like that famous. Let me get it up real quick. That's Sally Fields. This is me, guys. I love you guys, and if I piss people off today, I'm sorry. The little laugh is like, oh, cringe because, yeah, I don't want to. It is what it is. I don't want to be rude to people. I mean well. I'm coming well. But sometimes even when you mean well, it doesn't excuse you from some shit. Here's the thing. Sally Fields, when she, Sally Fields, the actress. You ever heard of her? She's old from the
No, what's
80s.
she
She was in
playing?
Cannonball Run, all that shit. Kind of hot chick. Look at this.
I'm not in. I'm totally not in line with your media taste, your music
It's
taste.
okay.
Sally Margaret Field, born on
This is her.
6th of November 1946 in
November
California,
19th. She's
is an
Scorpio,
American
right?
actress and director.
Little
With a
cute
career
thing, right?
spanning over 5 decades,
Like, you wouldn't think
Field
that
has
she would need,
established
like, a lot of
herself as a versatile
recognition.
and acclaimed performer. Field gained recognition
This
in
is
the
her.
1960s through her role as Sister Bertriel in the television series The Flying Nun.
The Flying Nun, yeah.
She then transitioned to the big screen, delivering powerful performances in films like Norma Ray,
Scorpio
for
eyes,
which
man.
she won an
Intense.
Academy Award, and Places in the Heart, earning her a second Oscar. Her ability to embody complex and relatable characters.
Okay, this is her. Okay, now you think that she'd be secure and stuff? When she won her first Academy Award, she was like, this is funny. This is me right here, guys. Sometimes acknowledgement. Wait, that's Dame Judy Davis when she was young. Wow, the one from Bond. She ended up being. You really like me.
That was from
Look
The
at these
Mask.
boys.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
that was from The Mask when Jim Carrey did that impersonation.
Oh, he did
I
that,
remember
huh?
that.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. He was taking his award. Oh, you really like me?
You like me.
I didn't even know what that was from. Shit. Flashbacks.
Shit. You like me. That's the origin story of it. Snow with her brother worked for CERN, of course. Under the conspiracy then, huh? Your mom looks
They're
like
all
Sally
tied into
Fields.
something.
Okay, she's a baddie, huh? Like the daughter, huh? Uncle Fatty, I'm surprised you don't got one of those, man. Yeah. Want to buy an Oscar? Huh? You like me, you really do, yeah. Yeah. Do you
What were
think
you
that's
talking
why
about? Go ahead.
back to the spiritual elitism? Do you think this is why a lot of people like to flex on that when they do know a lot? Not to say that, not to take anything away from their knowledge base, but the way they present it, fam, could be snobbish sometimes.
It's a superiority complex type thing.
Uh,
You fill your cup, and then you, just like we were talking about, you feel you can't. Just like we talked about before, only a fool thinks they have nothing left to learn. Only a fool. I like you added
Yeah.
that, because your cup is so full you can't pour any more in.
yeah.
There's with my cliche sayings, you got to empty your cup if you actually want more knowledge, more wisdom, whatever you want to
To make
call it.
room.
But yeah,
To make room, right, for it.
or get a bigger
Yeah.
cup. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people just don't have that capacity. That's what it is, including myself. But you have to shed your old skin to be able to grow more. That's everything in life.
Right, but when doing so, like, it seems like the so-called ego, it does push us though to compete, to kind of go for more, right? Because I want to be the best. I want to have the best numbers, and I want to have this many friends and all that shit. Yeah,
That competition thing.
yeah. But leave it as that, right? Don't take that once you get what you get. Don't, like, I don't know, just because I this is not the next segment, I guess. I told my Harry Potter school story in college, but then because there's like a lot of wizards and sorceresses there. Bikram yoga, my Bikram yoga experience was interesting in the fact that in going there, it was at a time where I had a complete paradigm shift, and it was because, like, once again, it's probably a woman got me. I was like, I felt this girl I was dating from that school showed me a lot of cool things about, like, me being an artist and whatnot. Nobody ever said that, with my movies that I would make, and I was so into her, and like her treating me like Sally Fields, where I was like, she likes me. She really likes me, right? And then that, but I guess for whatever reason, it wasn't the time for us. And before I got the hints, she let me know. She just ghosted me basically. And one of the things that she used to do, and she always used to tell me I should do with her, was Bikram yoga. And I had never done it. I never ended up doing it with her. One time I tried to meet up with her on Christmas, but I missed the session. But anyway, after we quote unquote broke up, stopped seeing each other, I was hurt, and then my housemate Jeff, he was like, in Pacifica, he was like, yo, you should try the BIKRAM. Yeah. I said, fuck that. But I was down, so I'll try it. And I did it. And when I did it, and BIKRAM yoga is, you go into the room, it's like 100 degrees, like 70% humidity. And you stay in there for 90 minutes and do 28 postures, yoga postures, looking in the mirror.
Of course, it's 28.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. The 28. Yeah, under the 28 acts, right? Wealth, because I definitely, for me, I've cultivated my most spiritual wealth with that. It got me my wife and my child, and just into the best shape of my life. So I did that, and I was like, Jeff, what the fuck did you bring me here for? This is torture, But I survived it, bro. And after being in that torture chamber for 28 years, of 28, it seemed like 28 years, 28 postures, 90 minutes long, I felt like I can do anything outside the yoga studio. So what I did was, when I moved back to San Jose, my hometown, I looked up the yoga studio because I kind of wanted to show my ex, like, haha, I can be a better yogi than you, type of shit. So I ended up finding there was literally a San Jose BIKRAM was right down the street from my house. I went over there and signed up, and it was like $20 a session, bro. that's expensive, man. But then they had this thing where it was like, okay, for $40 you can have unlimited yoga for a month, right? So I said, I want to do it. So I did it, and I want to get my money's worth. So I went out of the 30 days, in the month I went 28 days, right? And yeah, and in that time period, I just went through this complete metamorphosis of change, and because you literally look at yourself in the mirror, and bringing up trauma, because it ain't all sweet, like quote unquote getting enlightened. There's a lot of baggage and trauma you're sifting through physically, mentally, and like I literally fucked up my leg and my back doing that shit, but I kept pushing through. And in that time, I was working on myself and not worrying about this chick. And then I ended up meeting the girl at the front desk, and I went to go, like, I wanted to buy the book, the BIKRAM book. The second one I already had the first one. And the girl on the counter was always nice to me, and she's like, hey, you don't have to buy it, you can borrow mine. And I was like, okay. And I looked at her, I was like, yeah, I always thought this girl was very cute. And I was like, yeah, this is my opportunity. Let me ask her for a number. So, well, if I'm going to borrow the book, I need your number. She's like, okay. She gave me her number, and that was my wife. And from that, we started, hanging out and becoming friends and more than friends, and got married and moved to another country and had children. So
it's crazy. All from the yoga.
From the yoga, right?
That's special.
But the thing, it's very special, and that was the spiritual elitism, in the sense that I think we were the so-called elite, the real elite. I'm gonna take it. Fuck it. Fuck a humble brag. I'm gonna take it. Like, we were the elite there, because in our own way, we both, interesting enough, we made friends there, and some of the friends I made were just like the normal dads and stuff. And some of the friends she made were the people that were like not your traditional yoga body people, girls. Because when you think of yogis and yoginis, you think of like people shredded to the bone, little muscular, but like thin, right? Yeah. And I noticed that a lot of those people are actually rude and cliquish.
Oh yeah, you find those everywhere.
Yeah, but it was interesting in the yoga, because yoga. This is my first, like, besides my college, this is my first real spiritual community I was a part of, other than like growing up Catholic, And I was like, I thought they're, why are they people so snobby? And I get it. I can fuck with them and I can interact, but I didn't want to be really friends with them. There was only certain people, and a lot of times there were family people, the dudes that have a family or whatever. Even though I was so young, that I felt commonality with and whatnot. And yeah, there's a lot of spiritual elitism there, man. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
that's it.
the 80-20 rule. You'll probably only get along with probably only really click up with 20% of people. The
Right.
80-20 rule applies to everything in life. But you're saying the enlightenment thing, it's not, what people make it out to be. It's exactly what it is. It's painful.
It is
That's the
painful.
thing. Everybody thinks it's supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be some kind of blissful thing. No, it's
Right.
exactly what Buddha taught. It's suffering. That's the only way to enlightenment. That's what they seem to forget. They think that this way, you know, they think that the path is supposed to be some kind of enjoyable thing. It is most definitely not. You know, so if you're going through the suffering, you're actually on the right path. That's I don't know.
That's
A
when
lot
you
of
know
people
you're
forget that.
hitting the specs.
Yeah, I heard
You're in
some people.
target.
I'm not going to name names, but they were talking about how uh, the suffering is a bad part of the world, and that all this stuff that's happening with the quote unquote elites in the world is
Hmm.
basically evil, but they're playing the hand that they're supposed to. They're doing the
Right.
part that they're supposed to, because everybody forgets the greatest teachers are normally your oppressors. That is life. If you can learn from your oppressors, then you're the you're the best student ever. You can't just learn from those who are reaching out to teach you. It's,
Right.
I don't know. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but yeah,
No, that's right. That's right. That's definitely right. It's the oppressors. It's you. It's another version of you. It's like the Mayan. On one of the Mayan days, I think the storm, the storm day gif. It says, "Let your
yeah,
uh, let your angel, let your demons be your angels today. And your
right.
teachers, right? Something like that.
Just
Yeah.
like Ben, just like the master builder destroyer, Ben.
Right. Build and destroy.
Shout out to Ben.
Shout out to Ben. Appreciate it. Yeah, that Uncle Patrick, bro. Ben said, he said, build and
What up,
destroy. You have the
nephew?
power. What's that?
I said, what up, nephew?
What's up, nephew?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's very necessary at times, the destruction.
It is.
And people don't realize that we live in a world where people are not happy. So in order to build a new one, somebody's going to have to destroy it, and it's not going to be us. But some other people will do it, and will blame them all day for all the problems. But really, they're doing you a favor. It's just in the end, you might not see the end result, in your lifetime, but the end result will be better than what it is now. That's
Right.
that's the teaching of
It
Shiva,
will
and
be.
and Apollo, and all those destroyers, all those
Yeah.
destroyer gods.
Kali.
Beerus, yeah, Kali.
Kali,
Yep,
the mother god. Dance on you. Yeah, it's the self. It's the self manifestation of the manifestation of the self. The self is everything. Sherelle, that book is called Bikram's Beginner Yoga Guide. I think here, Bikram. I'll put it in the chat. Beginner Yoga book. Yeah. Actually, the one I was looking at was the second one, but this is the book. I love this book. You can basically read this book and do the class yourself. Or look up Bikram full class online. You can do it. Just make your house hot and do this shit. You'll become a fucking more of a goddess or whatever. Yeah. So here we go.
all I gotta
Uh,
do is go outside in Mississippi. Shit.
oh yeah, yeah. You'll hit it. You'll hit it. And the humidity, right? Hmm.
Damn, dude, it's already getting hot here. It's honestly
Already?
when it's 80 degrees here. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
I
bet.
just
Yeah.
uncovered the
Fuck.
ACs within a month. It went from 30 degrees every night. Now it's like 70 during the day. Damn, especially on the sunny days. Yeah, watch out down here.
Because of the humidity, you get all the mosquitoes.
There's not so many mosquitoes. They got more of those little fake ones. You know what I'm talking about? Little fake
Yeah.
mosquitoes. They don't even bite. The trip out. Yeah, my wife gets all tripped out about them. I'm like, that's not the mosquitoes. They're fake mosquitoes. Don't worry about
They're fake.
them. Yeah,
Really
they
does.
eat the other mosquitoes. They I forget what they're
Yeah.
called, but they're like they imitate them so that way they can sneak up on them and eat them. There's a lot more of those than there are mosquitoes around here. I've noticed. But yeah, you gotta watch out for snakes and shit. There's all kinds of water snakes. Those
Yeah,
are fucking
it's
poisonous.
water snakes, huh? This year of the water snake. I think this year's the
Wood
grass snake or
snake.
something like that. Yeah.
Wood snake.
We're the fire snake. Me and Zeph and Patrick, OTW, we're all fire snakes. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, OTW and all you. Okay,
Yeah.
so you were in the last
And
cycle.
Zeph. Yeah.
From what I've read, I'm gold. I'm the golden goat.
The gold snake, huh? The golden goat.
The goat. I'm in the gold
greatest of all time
section. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I find Kathy Woods. I was looking into her and her numerology and stuff. And she was actually born in the year of the wood goat. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
The wood goat, huh? Money.
Yeah, and her last name's Woods.
Woods. There you go. Yeah, that matches up.
And what's his name? Gene Hackman, who died in this year. Hackman, and the name
wood.
comes from tree cutter. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what Hackman means. Literally, he died in the year of the wood snake.
The wood snake. Yeah.
Yep. Had to put an end to him.
Yeah. That was a weird circumstances too. It seemed like. Dominic, the link's up here if you're free. We'd love to hear your thoughts on spiritual elitism or spirituality in general. I mean, you're one of the pretty based in spirituality from what I see. And Patrick,
jump up, Dom. This is a safe place. It's been a while since I've seen you on panel, man.
Yeah, I was in a panel with you at OTW before, Dominic. Check this out. This is where we're talking about the self. The self, right, is like actually the so-called elites aren't. They're there for a reason, basically, huh? Yeah, let me remind us.
Yeah, they play their part. That's the thing I've come to realize. I was the same mindset, man. Just like I said, I've had to rebuild myself so many times over the past decade, 5 years, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's constant rebuilding of yourself because you have to understand, like, the reason these people are in the positions they are is because they are the best. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
for
they hate on that.
You want to hate Walmart. You want to hate Walmart, but Walmart is the best. I'm sorry, man.
Right.
Whatever you want to say about it, they out the competition not because they had government funding or anything like that. They started off as a small store like everybody else. But when you understand volume over profit, you can become the best as well. That's why McDonald's is the best. That's why all these corporations are the best, is because they value volume over profit, and they will give you cheaper shit to make you buy it. And then by you going there and buying the cheaper shit, you are also propagating them being the best. So whose fault is it really? Are you going to go out and make more money and spend it at the smaller places to help them out? Or are you going to go to the cheaper place and save yourself money? It all ties into one, man. You can't just blame them for what they are. We're also propagating. We're also
right.
Them,
I see the same thing with, like, I mean, feel how people feel about him as they wish personally, but a lot of people come at Andrew Wilson, and in this side of all of the above sector, especially in the debate sphere, which is like kind of like the backbone of this sector. People hella hate him, right? And I think that some of it is because they think he's a jerk, but the other one is because he is the top. I mean, hands down, he's probably the best debater around here, And
in his sphere of debate, it seems like
the sphere of debate,
and people hella hate quite often.
For sure, but the point is, like, just like Walmart, like, speaking of, like, you can get an American flag at Walmart, but it says "Made in China." you know.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but they're still at the top of whatever they're doing, and
Right.
I've seen people come at him like based Oracle. A couple of my friends actually have come out at him too, and sometimes I think it's because they want to be that guy. They're mad that they don't have the
Where
opportunity to debate or yell out those 304s on
where is
on that
based
show.
Oracle, man? I
Shit,
missed
I don't
that
know.
dude. He was
Maybe
cool.
China or something.
Oh
I
shit.
wouldn't
He
say all
just like
that.
lost his
I
channel
wouldn't
and
say
then he was gone.
cool.
He
I
was
wouldn't say
cool,
cool,
man.
but definitely a valued member of the Panelverse for sure.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that guy. When it was just
I
him
watch the
on his
content for
panel,
sure.
and it was one
Yeah.
on one. He's fairly personable, you know. Just when people
Yeah,
get
when he's
around
not
people.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. When he's not trying to dunk on Brown's boy or the
right, right.
youngins. Yeah. What's
When
up,
you get
Dominic?
around
Good to see you,
conflicting
bro.
people, for sure. What up, Dom?
Yeah.
Hey Patrick, hey PC.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, we're doing good, man. Talking about like spiritual elitism to reset the topic. Started out with the Panelverse, then I was talking about my university, and then also talking about one of the spiritual communities I was in, the BIKRAM yoga community in the Bay Area. Um, and why is there a pension? Why do you think there's a pension for when a lot of folks when they learn a lot of cool spiritual truths and whatnot that some folks tend to use that as a flex over people? Or, have you seen that even?
Usually they do wave it out of ignorance. If they
Yeah.
truly understand what spiritual is, then they
Hmm.
wouldn't feel as though they need to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh
air.
yeah, I remember Dom's big on the you're using their system thing, so you gotta respect. I remember that. Oh
Hmm.
shit,
Well,
it's all
What
flashing
do you
back
mean by
now.
that? Can you unpack that,
either you can be
Don?
obedient to it or disobedient to the system. But you first have, for some folks, you would have to understand how the system works. Most
Yeah.
people are caught up in the flesh and blood ideal, the material.
Yeah. Hmm. It's real enough though, right? Flesh and blood.
But it's mortal. Blood's just a memory storage.
Mhm.
Like people get caught up in the color of their skin or their gender.
Yeah.
That's where morality comes. People have debates over morality. I said, but we're talking about the meat suit, right?
Uh-huh.
So then what is
Yeah.
air? What is the sun and the moon? Why is the sun a 7-day cycle and the father's a 10-day cycle? Series. We're going to talk about luminaries, energy.
Mhm.
But for most folks, they're going to be talking about, because we're using a language, it's a condition part. We're talking from the condition part.
Yeah.
Now, if that resonates with somebody, they'll entertain it. I always find people that debate each other, they're a funny bunch.
Yeah, I don't get it. I actually was on a panel recently and I was asking some debaters like what is it that's attractive to you about debating?
Outcomes, winning and
Yeah.
losing, right and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you debate
And then, like
somebody's views? So go ahead, NPC.
yeah, well, and then we were talking earlier, Patrick and I were saying like I was saying anyway, like how everything's so zen in a sense that it's it could be this, but then also it could be that,
Mhm.
this and that. You can go that for days, man. So what's the point of even debating? Uh,
It's like when you sit down at a chessboard. Have you already sat down there with the idea that you have to have a winner and a loser, or you just play the game for the sake of playing the game?
uh-huh.
That takes a lot of effort on people. Sports teaches outcomes.
Yeah, they
Getting a
do.
job, working. It's always fun when I hear people talk about I'm making money. I said, you're making money or you're earning money? What word are we going to play with right now? Because if you're
Uh,
making it, I want to understand. You have a printing machine. If you're earning it, what are you giving in exchange for it? You're giving up your energy.
time,
Um,
energy, awareness.
I would say energy. Time is something totally different at that point, MP. What
Yeah.
we call time are just gauges. The
Uh-huh.
clock and the watch are gauges. The sun and the moon, those are signs. That's not time.
Yeah.
Again, we've been
Uh,
conditioned. You know,
yeah. Our awareness. We're
Awareness.
giving
There
our
you go. You're playing with the word now. Awareness. Yes. Once you become aware of those things, this is why people understand how the luminaries work. What's between the luminaries and what gets manifested here is what's called time and space. And we're in a concept called life, breath of life. We breathe it in every day. every moment.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like that's the ultimate experience, meditation, breathing in and out. That's it. That's what it's a lot of this is all about. Just breathing. And
Like,
sometimes some of us only experience that um sadly enough when they die. In the sense that like you as it gets harder and more labored, you realize how precious it's been the whole time. Yeah.
like some of these people too are literal energy vampires as much as they get attention and they can
Hmm.
be proven that they're right by a group of other people. And, it feeds them. They love that. They want other people to just agree with them constantly. And if they can push someone else down, it props them up in a way. It's almost like a thing some insecure people do. You know what I mean? But that's not all of them. I'd say that's some of them. Some of them probably do it for expansion of their own consciousness. Because the more you have someone to push back on your ideas, it will expand your consciousness as long as you're open minded enough to intake that.
Yeah, that's when I asked Mel, not Mel Pandora, but the Mel, the furry or whatever, about that because she likes to debate and whatnot. And I said, do you like to learn? I mean, are you going in there to learn something? Because I've heard people say that, because when I hear people say that, I think of like something like self-righteous. Oh, I want to learn, when in fact maybe something else. I said, is it about learning? And what she said was interesting. She replied, I'm here to sharpen my intellect, my skills, but it was really nothing mentioned about the other person. Learning from, you know what I mean? Learning from the other person on the other side of the debate. So what? Yeah.
Well, I think what happened in NPC, you can either share awareness or you can use judgments. Most people want to judge, hence the term right or wrong. I agree or disagree, my likes or dislikes.
Yeah.
So just sharing information, how other people perceive it might the term I use, that's on them. I'm not seeing it through their senses. So when somebody says they want to argue with me, what are you arguing with? Again, that's a person, first of all, doesn't understand how did you learn the language. You got programmed, you got conditioned.
Yeah.
Who runs your body or the liquids in your body when your conscious mind is awake? In this case, the conscious brain. It's not even the mind
Hmm.
at that point. And for most people, they don't even have those thoughts. I said, so we're playing with afterthoughts, the spoken language or the written work. It's always fun when I hear people talk about the written work. I said, so how did you read it? Left or right, right to left, up or down or up? Did you read it in a scroll form or a book form? That's just me just putting that out there for them to say, well, I never thought of that. I said, there you go. So then what would you be winning at this point? At that point, I'm talking to a child.
Yeah.
It's good to have a beginner's mind. But again, most people think, well, if I have a debate with somebody, I said, you should be debating with the self, not with me. I'm of no interest to them. You know what I mean? Like, if I spoke a different language, how would somebody win an argument with me? We're going to do body language now at that point?
Yeah.
We're going to do
I have
Braille?
to go to the physical.
There you go. So again, but people want to be entertained by that, which is fine.
Right.
It'd be different if somebody says, okay, let's have a debate. The loser doesn't speak for 10 years. But make something of value.
Oh, wow. That'd be like fight for your life for them. That'd be
Think about
awesome.
it. You're in a part of
That's
the
a good
world
one.
where samurais, they have fights. They understand karma. So you better me, but let me have the final blow because I understand karma. Most of these people are playing these little games so they can get what the crowd going, well done. No, you didn't win nothing. Anything else? You basically play this game of saying, okay, so you intellectually understand things. But what happens if you're talking to somebody that's very intuitive?
Yeah.
I get most people that have debates, they're usually upper brain mentality. They're scholarly or they're very scribe-like people. But they're not talk to a woman or a man that touches into their feminine energy and say, I didn't read that stuff. I just know about it. And I'm actually applying discernment to it. Again, that person can say, you could be full of shit. I said, that may be true. I said, but that's my shit to deal with, not yours.
It's a good point because I heard like recently in the Panelverse the discussion about IQ, right? And could we say that IQ is for higher brain mostly? trying to give some type of report on it, or is it that? Or am I mistaken? Is that a test that encompasses other intellects?
Well, when people are playing with the concept of Christ consciousness, you have to have a high IQ and EQ. You have to develop them both.
EQ, yeah.
Both your emotion and your intellect.
Emotion, yeah.
You know, for most people, they're triggered emotionally not because they said something mean to them, because you gave them a compliment. Oh, well done, little boy. As soon as they take that compliment, there you are. There's your trigger point. It's easy to feed people.
Yeah.
Unless they understand. Okay, thank you. No problem. And if they say something negative, yeah, thank you. It's like playing poker.
Mm-hmm.
You don't show people your cards. Because really, what purpose does it serve?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so again, for some folks, the ones that are, very underdeveloped, like a psychopath or a sociopath, they would probably be good at debates.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What skills would transfer over from a psychopath, for example, to a good debater?
Well, most of them aren't going to be concerned about the person that they're actually arguing with.
Mm-hmm.
They might stick to the topic of the ideal, and they're going to try to win that. And they're going to usually, even though they might say they don't care about anybody, say, no, you do care. You care enough that the audience are going to give you praise.
Right.
It's always fun when I hear somebody say they don't care. I said, well, if you don't care, then why are you making fun of somebody?
What'd you say at the end?
I said, if when a person says they usually don't care about somebody, but yet they make fun of them, I said, but you're showing that you still care. It'd be different if you're
exactly.
indifferent.
You wouldn't waste time.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's up, Joe?
What's up, guys?
What's up, P? Yeah, Joe, cool. How come you? I never really noticed you in an official debate. Is there a reason for that?
And the official debates?
Yeah, because I know you're obviously a OG of the panels, which is debate heavy, and you've been to a lot in the chat or also on the panel. But have you ever actually had an official debate, or does that attract you, or you like just listening and adding on?
I like to fight, so I'd be down, but
Nobody's ever asked you?
those things are like playing in advance, and no, I don't think anyone include me. If it happened spur of the moment, I'd be down. I went over to Speakeasies. That was the debate.
Uh-huh.
I won 2 in a row, and somebody paid $100 to kick me out. That was a close one.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Someone was triggered.
I know, right? That was the first time I've been over there. I didn't know what they was doing.
Yeah,
they had to tell me the rules, but I would love to, man. I'd love to. I don't want to change it either. I went back a little bit because I'm trying to grow up and stop just hopping on panels without listening to what motherfuckers talking about. So I backed it up a little bit, and I heard some of your spiritual shit, your yoga shit, how you met your old girl, your wife.
Okay.
All right. So then I fast forwarded, and I see Dom, which is my man, talking about Christ consciousness. So I wouldn't want to fucking change the subject, man. And
no, it's not. It's all relevant.
It's all relevant.
Yeah.
You smart fuck. I was watching you somewhere else. I had no idea you was that fucking smart.
Hey, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, I'm
a lot coming from you, I guess.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna play the background a little bit, man, and I'm gonna get in where I fit in.
Because I learned a lot from Patrick, but like Dominic, he's like blowed me away a lot of times. And I don't mean to blow smoke up your ass, but you got some cool shit. It's not necessarily interrogation. It's more like shit. I want to see all this wisdom, because I don't know if you know, one of the main purposes of this channel is it's a journal for my son Ben, who's 6. So if he ever wants to, he can just go back and listen to some of my musings and also my friends at the time.
Yeah,
what was really going on? Yeah. So, yeah. I would just say for me, debate never really, formal debate anyway, never really was appealing to me, really.
If
I figured it's kind of like you said, like sandbox shit.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather have a quest for the truth where it's honorable. If you make a good point, I say aha, and we chase that line of logic. Just trying to score a victory, that is so unappealing to me. It's ego. It's done for other people, right? Yeah, and it brings in the shit that I think is of girl. I don't want to get in trouble saying this shit, but less character. I would say, if you have to sway the crowd, if you have to use little shit like talk over motherfucker, interrupt,
Yeah.
And to play little games like that, I don't respect any of that, and that's the game that I got to get into. So of course I wouldn't really be attracted to it, but I love to fight and argue, and if I could do it in earnesty, even better. Like some people. I'm really good at that. Some people, can change their mind on a dime if you have a good point. Those and vice versa. Those are people I like.
Yeah. You always want to change the paradigm. It's like a natural psychedelic or something. Yes, you guys shout out to Joe Cool. A lot of people say I love seeing Joe Cool on the panel for sure. Obviously, yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Whoever said that.
Yeah. A lot of people saying that in the chat. So Dominic, I don't know if you saw that yesterday. I had a broadcast of about like the question was is the Panelverse a form of group therapy, right? And the reason I thought about that is because I'm thinking about ever since the last 4 or 5 years with the whole quote unquote pandemic and all that. A lot of us who never was on the internet came online, and we going through a lot of difficult times for different reasons. And I heard people like spilling their guts and their soul, while at the same time there's a lot of clowns and trauma, a lot of clowns and memeing going on and stuff. So what is all that, Dominic? What do you think all this shit is?
Before
Is it
before you
therapy?
continue, Keith is backstage, and also I'm gonna step
Okay.
down, bro. Yeah, my brother wants to give him a call, but thanks for having me up, man.
Good to have you. Thank you.
Harold,
Patrick,
what's
I'll hit
good,
you
man?
up. Yeah,
Have a good
appreciate you,
night,
brother.
gentlemen.
Have fun,
What's
Daddy,
up, bro?
with your daughter and your wifey. All right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't mean that daddy like Puff Daddy. That's kind of weird. I had to pause that. What's up, Harold? How's it going?
Hey.
Good. And then we got a first Brick Jonesy in the house. What's up, man?
Rick, what's up,
What's up,
baby?
brother, man? How's
Good.
it going, Joe? What's up,
Rick,
Dom?
can a police be complaining in a this early?
Yes.
All right.
I was asking like the Dom, and this is the whole panel too, but Dom first crack at it. What do you think about that all the whole Panelverse as a group therapy?
I think what some folks are trying to bond with each other. Bonding or whatever.
You're low, Dom.
Kind of low,
Very
Dom.
low.
It boost you up.
And make sure you're up to the mic, Dom. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be bossy.
Go ahead,
like
try it
my
again.
ex.
No, we need that. That's good. You're helping out.
I was low on my end. Thanks, guys.
Very
I
good.
think a lot of people are, or not a lot, quite a few people anyway, are trying to bond with each other online. And they're bonding. Usually, they're not trying to put in details why they're trying to bond with each other. So that's what I get from it. Whether it's cheap therapy or not, I don't think most people are willing to pay for it. So they want something free, which is a click away. So they're not really putting a lot of weight behind it.
I think it's definitely 100% therapy. It is. It's therapy for me. I'm in Chicago because I got some shit. My brother's sick. The days are heavy and depressing. And I get on here and see you cats and feel better with people I know and I love. And I know that sounds weird, but I love seeing
it's good.
Cats.
It's good.
It makes me feel better.
Yeah, I was just speaking. What's up, Sasquatch in the chat, everybody? I was just saying that yesterday about how why can't we just say, like that's my friend. I very rarely hear it besides me talking to some of my cats.
That ain't your
my friends
friend.
Here.
He on YouTube. You ain't never met
exactly
him.
that shit is like right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's cringe to them, but it's real life. Let's get it 100. Most of us have this is our social chamber right here. Yeah, right or wrong, it is what it is, man.
It's kind of been like that throughout. We don't think about it, but before that, it was letters. I forgot what you used to call them. When you used to keep
scrolls or something.
No. When you would send a friend letters, and they had a name for that.
Pen pal.
Pen pal, yes. And
it
was the phone. When I was a kid, the phone was huge. You stayed up talking all night on the phone.
Yep.
Now it's computer. No one said your pen pal's not your friend. The person on the phone's not your friend.
Yeah. Right. Brick Jones, you make friends on this YouTube sector?
I mean, it's possible. You can.
I think it's
I'm asking you, bro. Yeah.
Oh, for me, yeah, definitely, 100%.
Okay, good.
Did you meet Lex on here? Lex is a great guy. And you and them
Yes.
buddies. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. That is
Yeah.
exactly how. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother in Northern England, the great ghost over there in Bath, England. What's going on, man? What's up, Daniel?
Yeah. Let's is an old guy, and he really does want to see change, right,
Yeah.
within our system here in the United States. He does have a big problem with what's going on. I mean, he served, and he does see the issues as a personal thing, and
Right.
so for him, and because he's an older guy, he knows that he doesn't have the longest of time, and so he really wants to see that change. And for me, he's done a lot for me. He knows my story, which is insane. It's like 900 books, but he also reaches out to others and gets involved in the community as much as he can. So yeah, I would definitely consider him a friend.
That's good, man. I'm glad. Yeah, glad. Because it's pretty brutal when you don't have a friend. YouTube or off YouTube. You're lucky if you get one good one.
They say that if you have one good friend in your life, consider that a blessing. I heard when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I'm very, very, very lucky.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very few.
Yes.
And far between.
Yeah. Shadow Buddha's my best friend. I met him over here, like on this YouTube stuff, like
that name sounds
3-4 years ago. But hey, Joe, you said something great when you had I like Flow's my supplement show. If it wasn't for Flow show, I wouldn't have other things to talk about on the Panelverse.
Right,
but like, yeah. So I heard you say you and Cynthia having a cool exchange where she was like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of negativity, toxicity when these meetups happen. YouTube. And you're like, wait a second, huh? Like every time I've gone to these tens of meetups in your sector in the police cop watching sector, it's been beautiful, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And I've been to, I think I've met more people. I bet you I've never met a motherfucker in YouTube who's actually met more people in person. I should far outnumber more people than anybody ever met. And and a lot of that is because we do that shit at Airbnbs, or we'll have group audits where it might be 30, 40 motherfuckers come to a state and meet up. And it never ends. And we've never had a fight. Anything like that. In fact, it's always been the greatest. Here, fucking Brick is up here. I've met Lex, the guy Brick is talking about at Audapalooza. One of them get-togethers with like 100 of us was up there. We exchanged knowledge, had a food contest, open bar. It was the greatest shit ever, man.
Amazing.
And they're always
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
I definitely would have.
Mr. Larry Downs Jr. I want to give him a big shout out for that because he lent his place, right? And he's he's a hardworking man, his own business, and he gets involved in the community. Very principled guy, and
freedom fighter. He's freedom minded. His property is way set back. You got to take a private road to get there. So he did that shit for us. There were no cops. They were outside of the boundaries, but that's a quarter mile away, half a mile away. So he did us really cool. Not to mention they had 2 big ass barbecue grills full of shit, a swimming pool. We smoked out back endlessly. I don't give a fuck who know. So from the time I got there, bro, it was in the air. It was great. We had a food contest, and my friends. That was great. I love this. And I see these niggas all the time.
So everyone in the Panelverse doesn't live in a basement. Interesting.
Yes. And they get out and see shit from time to time. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's why it was great to see like Apparel. You were like, Jack is my friend. I love it. Like I consider Jack a friend too. And Joe, I've heard Joe say it too. Like it was cool to see you guys this whole week, have each other's backs and shit. Oh, Sasquatch, I'm sorry. He's like waving around and stuff. Sorry, Sasquatch. What's up, man?
No, that was your hand here, I swear. How we doing tonight? What's going on? I have an opinion on this whole topic here. Friendship.
The Reset the Compass. Yeah, friendship. But it started off as spiritual elitism. And I was telling my story about the Panelverse. So I've seen it, and I was using the example of the Ortho Bros. Some of the Ortho Bros we know that like to,
spiritual elitism. I like it. I'm better than you. I love it.
I was I was just going to say, can I input my comment that I
please
made
do.
earlier in the stream? Is that spiritual elitism, in my opinion, is one's self-ego.
Yes.
That's it. Thinking that you're better than another man. Where if you're truly spiritual, then you're equal.
Or beneath, or a servant,
Sir,
right? Or a servant.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a YouTuber, and I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
So you're
Clearly.
twice as fucking brilliant.
And we can tell.
That's your flex, huh?
Yeah. Hey,
shit.
that made me think. You said spiritual. What'd you call it? I forgot that quick.
Elitism.
Elitism. That goes across all. Well, I ain't gonna say all YouTube, but a ton of YouTube. Because the first thing I thought about was these gurus, right? These niggas are elitists. Fucking, I don't give a fuck whether it's Paul or Jack or whoever, whatever guy. I don't give a fuck if they tell you about how water holds energy or gematria. It's an elitism. I am better than you because I know shit you don't know.
Yeah.
Flat Earth, whatever the fuck it is.
It goes all across all boards.
I think gematria is a symptom.
I know, right? It's horrible, right?
We need help.
If we cared, we do something about it. I'm with you.
I'll call. Yeah, I've heard that with you and Flo say that before. It's like some type of sickness where schizophrenia type stuff. I forgot the name you use.
Yes. When it gets on the far end of that spectrum, schizophrenia,
OCD,
and gematria will be like OCD. I dig it. I feel it too.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. I mean, if somebody finds like, if they find like some type of some growth spiritually or mentally off that, good for them. But for me, I can see that it can get out of hand. Like, oh, there's a 343 on that license plate. And I can't, my receipt said this and that, but that's just me.
Yeah, that OCD shit could drive you fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm coming from before. So I made interesting stops in these self-development on YouTube. I went from like red pill, black pill, manosphere to like psychedelic sphere. And in the psychedelic sphere is interesting because I did a series with my friend from the Netherlands called Psychedelic Elitism, and even in that sector, there's a lot of gatekeeping and people flexing like you have to do your tripping this way, and then and this is what only people can see. It's just interesting too. You're right; it's everywhere. Yeah.
Wow. Even then. Wow. Okay, so that takes us full circle to spiritual, which these guys, are the only ones making the claim to actually have the answers. And how the fuck can you still be elite? I don't know. If you reach the spirituality, you should see yourself as a sea slug or something.
Aren't we all truly elite in our own personal things? Like, I prefer the best cheesecake, and so I go to the cheesecake place that makes the best cheesecake. You know what I mean?
If I understand what you mean, yes, the guy in your quirky way, you are that elite guy.
Well,
I don't give a fuck if you playing in the woods, lightning bolt.
Yeah, but I'll say it like my friend from Chicago, K Blouse says, but it'd be like, it's your tone, fam. Your tone, fam. like you could. We all have that, but there's certain people that are just come across very snobbish, which is off-putting to some of us. That it's like, I get it, this and that, but the way you present it, it's like, ugh.
And I think what you described, Squatch, was more a favoritism, because that's internal perception of what is best. The one guy might think a Lamborghini is better than a Rolls Royce.
Right. And that's your unique system. That's your stuff. You may dress in some shit that I think is absolutely hideous. I had a friend who thought he was hip and liked to wear biker shorts. Like, oh my God.
Oh man.
And I'm in the ghetto, right? He stays somewhere else. He think but that's him.
Yeah, I mean,
was it in the 90s or what?
Yeah, this would have been whenever biker shorts was happening. It was just horrible because we've been wearing oversized T-shirts and shit forever in my neighborhood. And I bring in this cat who I love dearly. And he's got to wear tight biker shorts. You can see his fucking nuts and shit. Is horrible, bro.
You see that, like walking in front of the courtyard in Cabrini Green? No, man.
Yeah, I've been over there, but
a perfect example of that is, when I was in high school, the early 2000s, nobody was wearing sweatpants. Now, from what I understand, like they really don't care what you wear nowadays. Kids can pretty much wear whatever the hell they want to wear.
They wear their pajamas to school sometimes.
Right, right, and that's what it was. Is you weren't allowed to wear quote unquote pajamas. Now I used to wear sweatpants sometimes, right? But if you didn't if you weren't wearing the jeans, right, then you know they would sometimes send you home if you were wearing sweatpants. But I would wear them, and it wasn't a big deal for me. I kind of got unnoticed, but now like people don't care, and so it is a preference thing when it comes to certain things. You know, certain personalities, certain things people wear, certain ways that people look. It's a turnoff sometimes, but then sometimes it's it's like whatever. Some people can wear whatever they want to wear.
We do agree though that in a perfect world, let that motherfucker wear what he want, pink hair, nose ring. We shouldn't be trying to force him to do shit, right?
Yeah, if you don't like his nuts showing through those shorts, don't look at his nuts.
Let's go to Miami.
Hey Sasquatch, being a man that's like so learned and like, because remember you said in your part of your origin story that your mom just gave you a library card and said, "Hey, have at it," right? My words, not maybe not
how to
yours.
use a Dewey Decimal.
Okay, that's what it was.
Go for
it. Do you ever get like people push back on you because they're like, "Man, what you say? What don't you know?" And they get maybe jealous or something.
Always, I got folks like
how do you handle that?
I let them pull up the freaking receipts. What am I supposed to do?
Wait, I thought you said Perro. Because did you talk as Perro or Sasquatch?
I said Sasquatch, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You seem like you like Aquarius, because a lot of Aquariuses I know, they know it's easy for them to pull knowledge and stuff. When's your birthday, man?
I am an Aquarius.
Oh shit.
Yes, sir.
Are you too, Joe Cool? What about you, Joe? Somebody want to know in the chat. Joe.
Sasquatch, so I'm Cancer. I don't leave. Sasquatch. Okay. So you catch hate, jealousy, that type of shit.
I don't know if it's jealousy or just anger when someone does that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't get where the anger comes from.
Right. So you can't say it's jealousy,
they're jealous,
but it's definitely anger.
But if they're wrong, they are not only angry, but their ego has been bruised, and then they're moved to more action on that.
And that may not have anything to do with jealousy.
Yeah, nothing at all to do with jealousy, and everything to do with just being shown out. Because I'm an asshole. I don't care how you feel about it, right?
Right.
It's not my fault that you're ignorant. If I get something wrong, dear God, tell me, because I don't like being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
So if I'm off base, hit me immediately. Please correct me.
Yeah.
I almost dare you.
If you say it like that, they might be scared.
That's the way I am, Squatch. That's the way I am. I dare you to prove me wrong. I want you to, because I don't want to sound like a babbling idiot.
Pharaoh, I thought when he asked, do you get a lot of heat for being a bright dude? I thought he was talking to you, and what popped
him
up,
too. He's very bright.
I was about to say, I could think of at least a couple, 3 people that give him shit. Flo gives him a lot of shit, man. Because you don't listen to that shit or understand.
Even Dominic, under what he's been sharing earlier, it's like I can see how someone might be like, dude, slow down, bro. But like all the stuff he was saying, I resonate with all that. Like it was like, damn, bro, that's high power.
Something I've learned to do. You have 2 choices. You can either cut the topic up into small enough pieces for someone to chew and give them time to digest it, or you can give them the whole meal in one go and just get over it.
No, I do like that.
I like meal shit. Fuck that. I'm sorry, Brett, but go ahead, and then I want to say why I think that's a bad idea.
Well, because the reason I say I like it is because it relates to another analogy that I was kind of sharing not too long ago about a bridge. When you're building that bridge and you meet halfway, it's like putting in the different steps. You put in the first step, let somebody test it out, put in the next step, go on, so forth. And so, yeah, it's perfect. I like that.
I thought the Sasquatch, maybe I don't see the analogy to what you said. Sasquatch, I thought he was saying, we were talking about the giving a motherfucker your information. In El Perro's case, it would be that commerce driving, as opposed to traveling bullshit. And giving that shit to you, a motherfucker, all in one whop. It's overwhelming. And I think most of these dudes, if not all of them, that's their fuck up. They try to give you too much information at one time. I like first thing Sasquatch said is break it down and take time to make sure they understand it. Don't move the fuck on and just not look like you're just showing off and flexing.
I am.
And there is another issue. There's another issue that comes up with that, though, is that people who don't understand want to ask, that 1,000 questions to you when you give them that one little piece to chew.
Yes. And that's a good thing or a bad thing, man. It's a good
that
thing.
Works better. If they're willing to ask the questions, they can't get mad when you give them the answers. That's actually a better form. In fact, well, no, it was a OTW. I went up on an OTW panel that somehow skewed into sovereign citizen stuff. And I started asking the guy questions to try to determine what part of sovereign citizen he was doing. And him and Lou Bass came up and started like tag teaming on me, trying to get me to admit that I was trying to say something in particular. I'm like, no, I can't know what type of sovereign citizen you are until you answer a few questions and let me know, have you ever had a driver's license? Have you ever had a mailing address? Have you ever received a check stub? These kinds of questions can clarify a whole bunch of stuff.
Sasquatch is Pero South.
Pero is a contractualist.
It's Pero a South.
Not exactly. He's a contractualist.
Wait. Is that a yes or a no? Because I'm about to ask him.
That's a no.
I'd say
not
no.
You, motherfucker. I want to know what he said. You say he's not a South.
I have listened to a lot of El Pero's madness, and inside the madness of his ranting and raving and screaming and yelling is a contractual concept. It's largely edged in commerce and the agreement. My question,
Pimp. Are you dodging me? You know who I am. And when you're done, I'm going to ask you again, is it your opinion that he's a South Sid or not?
No. He specifically is involved in the wording of contracts. That happens to overlap an awful lot with sovereign citizenship. But I guarantee you, he has no problem with the government. He just don't want them in his front yard.
And
you want to partake of my time, then you got to pay me for my time because I'm doing God's work, and that's who I'm going to snitch on.
And Peros, for the record, you do not consider yourself a South Sid either, huh?
Not at all.
Could you guys both point to one that we know?
The government.
No. I'm talking about a person. I want a motherfucking name.
Okay, so the president, Donald J. Trump.
He's not wrong.
Wait. Now your turn.
Technically speaking, Donald Trump might be the only actual, truly sovereign citizen in America.
Sasquatch, when you were saying that they were asking you about a South Sid and you needed to ask certain questions to determine what type of South Sid, that's the type of South Sid I'm talking about. Name one of those cats. It ain't Trump. You had them niggas in the street traveling, not driving.
Haven't you met people?
People?
Fucking on Press Harder. He's got a but you know that man. You know what I'm talking about. That's a sovereign citizen.
Yeah, he's a sovereign half. I wonder if he even considers himself a sovereign. Right? I wonder if he considers himself a sovereign citizen.
Are you satisfied? You got your name. Just to keep it 100, I got about 5 minutes. I'm gonna take Benjamin to the barbershop real quick.
All right.
But like, yeah, I think elite. What is the definition of Webster's elitism? A group of people who are superior, or what does it say? Let me read it. It says a select group that is superior in terms of ability, qualities to the rest of the group of society, for sure. And in doing that, if we are elites, like Sasquatch said, I need to do my job and like check in with the people who haven't really spoke up. So Dominic had a question. I hadn't checked in with them. Nobody checked in with them. He had a question. He put it in the panel because everyone was like, talking and shit. Yeah, he said,
he's still up here.
He said, yeah, he's right there. He said, in some of the live panels about teaching or learning or sharing only. What do you guys think?
Is some of the panels
are some of these live panels about teaching, learning or sharing only? Yeah.
I think most of them are about sharing. Many of particularly debates. I think the debates aren't really debates. They, like Dominic said in the chat, in the back chat, they're structured debates, and I don't think that's a structure. A structured debate is more of a setup for an argument.
Yeah.
It's a different context. Whereas in my lives, I do the teaching, the learning, and sharing. I want all of it.
Of course. Of course.
I believe, at least in my experience, that most YouTubers come to YouTube initially to either teach or show, which is in both cases sharing. Learning either takes place or it doesn't. It depends on whether they're here to like dictate, teach, or if they're here to interact, teach.
Yes.
Right. And I choose to interact. Joe chooses to interact. Brick chooses to interact, although I'm not sure why. I don't know what his goal is.
Well, I could give my answer.
You're right. Brick is an interactor.
It would be worth exactly as much as your answer is worth, Brick.
Maybe.
Don't stop there. Do you know what do you see me as, or you probably haven't maybe you haven't seen me enough?
You seem to want to participate, which is
Teacher.
an interesting angle.
Teacher.
You would like to teach, but
He's
you're
humbling himself. He's a teacher. Yeah, he's being humble when he's doing this shit with us. He's being humble. He's a natural teacher. I've heard him speak.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have viewed himself as a teacher without it being placed before him as what he does.
Well, okay, we
You got that right, kind of pretty much.
We might as well ask you, what do you come here for?
I mean, like I said, like it's like I'd be like a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when he shows them the license. What's a license? What's your name? It's on my license, right? But it's on the description. It says this is a channel for Ben, for sure, my son, the general. But however, with that said, I want to interact for sure, and I want to share some things, and hopefully, get leveled up on some, some high-powered knowledge from y'all. Yeah.
And I think that's an important aspect that I take into consideration for your channel, brother, because like you said, this is for your son. This isn't really for us. This isn't really for you, though we all get something out of it.
You're part of it, definitely.
Right. Exponentially, it is for your son. Yeah. And the better input we have on your panel, and this is why I can comprehend. You don't want the drama here, so I'm gonna.
And I've seen you do that. You not do that, but it's totally respected that, Pero, without you even saying that. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Everyone else too, for the most part, that comes around here normally. There is a place for the drama for sure. We like to fuck shit for sure. I mean, it happens here sometimes. You can't get away from it. But with that said, is like. And even if Ben doesn't even watch this later, when he grows up, it is what it is. For those who do, it's here. For you guys,
that's what I was gonna say. It's not all about Ben. It's two things.
No.
Once.
That'd be like self-righteous. Be like, no, man, it's just for my son.
I mean, there's no way you can control it anyway because our intent, right? You can't judge what we do when we pop up here. So it's great he gets the insight into it and all of that shit. But you're just showing him an opening into real life, and you being the host, you can steer what channel he's gonna watch a bit too.
Exactly.
Hey,
because technically he's a YouTuber at 6 years old. He plays a Fortnite.
I'm gonna cut out and give you some time to say goodbye to everybody,
man.
Since you gotta leave. All right, it's been swell, fellas. I'm throwing up the peace sign like y'all can see me.
All right, P. I see you later, bro. I see that. Pip
Joe, check out the backstage chat before you dip. I left you a little something back there.
He's already out, but if not, I'll pass it on to him.
That's just hilarious, though, ain't it? That's hilarious.
That's the one thing that scares colored people is a white man laughing at them.
No.
You said colored people. Damn. I heard somebody call somebody Oriental the other day. Like, God, hey, but in South Africa, my colleague.
My apologies.
No, that's okay. No, I know what you mean. No. The reason I said that too is because my South African teaching colleague, he told me that there's 3 distinctions in South Africa on their application. There's black, white, and colored. And colored just means mulatto or mixed meat, hybrid, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Or really anything that doesn't fit under either black or white. If you're not black and you're not white, then you put this one in, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all love, dog. Yeah.
All right.
So, hey, so anybody else?
That'd be cool.
Anybody else got what you got? Anybody
Yep.
want
Thanks for
to bounce?
let me have some time up here, brother. Appreciate it. God bless you. You know me. I love you, but don't give a rat's ass whether anybody loves me back. Have a good
Yeah, we don't have to worry. I love you, Keith. Uncle Keith. Yeah. Chief Keith. There you go. The real Chief Keith. Yeah, everybody, I appreciate y'all coming, man. Always an honor when the legends like Sasquatch, Damo, Dominic, and Bricky Jones.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you letting me up too.
Yeah. Don't be a stranger, man.
I was gonna say on my view. I know a lot of people like to pretend like I don't have any view or that I'm just a moron out here. No, I believe it's all three, right? The sharing, the learning, the teaching. So for me, it's eat healthy, enjoy life. And that enjoy life part that encompasses that. So
you hear that, Ben?
I want to do
Uncle
too.
Brick. He said, eat health. Eat health. You know, eat healthy. Be healthy. Say it again. I'm screwing it up, dude. Go ahead.
Eat
One more
healthy.
time.
Eat healthy.
Eat healthy.
Enjoy life.
Eat healthy. Enjoy life. Okay, we got it.
All right, brother.
All right, Brick.
Catch you later.
I'll talk to you soon, brother. Peace. Yeah, shout out to the chat, man. In doing this whole spiritual elitism, it became a friendship a friendship experience. Right? That's funny. What was it? Ashima Alexander. She said, "I'm going to name a channel the Hug Box." There you go. You better do it before somebody else does. Shout out to the love, Sherelle Snow, Gracie Gray in the house. Everybody was here. Zephyr, Izzy, what's up? Yeah, man. Lady Luck, my friend, Ozzy, El Perro. What's El Perro? That's a weird way to say it. Mr. Keith, like we said. Uncle Fatty for sure. Mike was in the chat. He came up yesterday. Salute my brother. Yeah, man. That was fun. Yeah, Mike. I got the lovely Divine Sparks 313. Don't worry, Imperius wasn't here. We'll keep you safe. And Shadow Buddha in the house, bitch. Absolutely. The great Patrick Look Within, and the other Patrick, the two Patricks, Bateman's, OTW. Yeah. So this has been a great broadcast, you know. Started off the morning with some spiciness in the Discord, but you know, I mean, well, I'm coming at you raw, but I definitely want you to everyone to do good. All right. So, with that said, in the meantime, peace. This is from our Little Mermaid decode the other day. I'll talk to you later. Peace, guys. Have you seen the game? NPC. Cheese. What's up, Borg? Marathon Cat in the building. My twin. What's up, talking my friend?